What's going on, fellas? Doing a quick video today, following the general line of thinking that the videos I make are as if I'm coaching all of you. Like, what would be advice to you guys if you were all my clients? Today, I just wanted to talk about something that I was thinking about talking with a client about earlier that thought might make an interesting video. I'm sure that some of you guys have heard the general phrasing like, everything in your program, you or your coach should be able to articulate exactly why it's there. Generally, this is just kind of like a ideological razor that we can use to either trim excess fatigue that might be there without benefit from our program so we can apply more effort to the things that should be there, or it's a way of kind of making sure your coach is paying attention and doing you justice within your program. You just should be able to ask, like, hey, why is this exercise here? They should be able to give you a reason. I would say that most coaches can give a reason for most exercises in a program. I don't think that's something that you're going to catch a good coach off guard with. But it's generally been like for the benefit of basically for the benefit of your program is the reason that we've historically asked this question. And I just wanted to put a different lens out there and maybe say that the reason we should be asking that question is also for your benefit. We should understand and internalize and believe the reason the exercise in the program for buy-in. I have found in my time coaching, my views on what best practices gets progressively more abstract the more I notice how directly training enjoyment predicts progression, even if the plan is like maybe a little smidge off what I think is a good idea. If the person is looking forward to training, they get ready for it, they sleep, they train with intensity, they train with focus, they're mentally present, and they get better, even if the program's just a smidge away from what I might deem hypothetically optimal. So I will go out of my way to make some adjustments to a program within what I feel is reasonable to increase training enjoyment. And similarly, one of the other kind of intangibles that massively predicts how two people might get very different results from the same program, independent of their genetics. I think you could have genetic twins, and if one of them is bought into why they're doing their accessory work, they're going to apply themselves a lot more. They're going to look forward to it. They're going to think about beating the books, but also they're going to, if they understand the point of the exercise, they're going to execute it in a way that lends itself to that purpose. So it's like, okay, if we're doing this exercise to highlight a technical element of your main lift, we better be highlighting that element, not just trying to move from point A to point B and number chase. Or if we are doing an exercise to hypertrophy a specific muscle, we should be doing that exercise in a specific way to bias towards that muscle, so on and so forth. Maybe we're doing an exercise or a conditioning circuit to train certain energy systems. Lots of people will be like, oh, fuck, I don't really make, my coach doesn't want me to die of a heart attack or something. So, I just kind of sandbag that cardio at the end. Well, your coach might have that in there because he wants you to get in better shape so you can handle more of the stuff that actually matters, the resistance training. If you improved your aerobic condition, you put in either some HIIT protocol type stuff or just accumulated a lot of time in zone 2, you get a bigger total engine and then you can do more of the stuff that you enjoy. So if you understood that, you might buy in and be like, I don't really love spending a bunch of time in zone 2 on an incline treadmill, just plodding along at like, what's the fastest pace you could hold while still being able to hold a conversation. We're still breathing hard. We're still breaking a sweat. Let's log a bunch of time there. Let's grow that base. And there's a reason for it. And you might be a little bit more keen to do it and actually get up to that zone 2 rather than just being lazy and staying in zone 1 if we understand why it's in there. So what I generally do is the first thing I like to do is, ask the question why and try to convince yourself of it. You know what I mean? Like, even if you understand why, if you haven't internalized that and you don't really believe it's going to help, you're probably not fully bought in. So really trying to sell yourself on the idea. That's a conversation you can have with yourself. It's a conversation you could have with the person that recommended you do this exercise or your coach. The next thing is kind of learning to love it. Even if you don't like it, tricking yourself into liking it is a huge step in getting the benefits of an exercise. When I really was getting first into strongman, I was not very good at yoke, and I also didn't like yoke. It basically was just painful, so I didn't like it. And the biggest step in terms of getting better at yoke was just tricking myself into looking forward to the yoke sessions, learning what it felt like to anticipate performing well on the yoke. Because I knew that, like, before I bench press, so maybe I'll just go watch Eric Spoto, like, rep 635 out a bunch of times, and that gets me fired up to like chase that high level of performance. I got to be able to apply that same mindset to the yoke, so learning to like it. Same thing with the conditioning, same thing with the accessories, same thing with the variations. Is like learning to look forward to it, learning to enjoy it would kind of be step two. Another one that I like to do is go on YouTube and find various guys who make videos on lifting weights, breaking down the benefits of the exercise. You know, if your coach's explanation isn't enough to sell you on it, maybe going and watching if Brian Alsruh has a video on it. Watch it, because that guy is very passionate about how helpful every exercise he does is. You know, he's got a big, long tirade about how great rows are, how great vertical pulls, like pull-ups are. Got a big tirade on the sandbags, got a big tirade on the conditioning. And he's so passionate about it, it really bleeds through the video, and he's going to start to convince you. There's lots of other people that have made those videos, so you could just search up like this exercise and look for somebody that you respect, and you're like, oh, that guy's stronger than me. He's really passionate about this exercise. Maybe I should start getting passionate about it. And when you start getting passionate about it, you start looking forward to it, you start executing with like intensity, you're going to start to derive all of the benefits that can uniquely come from that exercise, because there are a lot of really good exercises. You know, glute ham raises, most people just sandbag them. They never really see the benefit. But if you get a guy who's really sold in, he's really bought into them, and he masters the form on them, and he's doing them twice a week, and he's hammering away, and he actually gets better at them, and he masters that fundamental, he's going to tell you, oh my God, these are the shit. But you can't just do it passively in your program because someone else knows the benefits. You need to buy in. You need to do them hard enough to really see those benefits. It's the same thing with like rowing. I know lots of powerlifters are like, yeah, I don't really benefit from doing horizontal rowing in my program, but I've never seen them do a hard set of horizontal rowing. I've never seen them master that fundamental and progress it before determining what systemic effects there. I kind of had rows in there on and off, and I was actually pretty strong at them, but it wasn't until I did them really consistently, and I did them even when I was really fatigued through the lower back, that I realized how much they were helping with my bracing mechanics. So there's a lot of things that like we really need to fully buy in and apply to see how cool some of these exercises are. You know, it was the same thing when I first started actually working hard and adding a little bit of load to my planks so I could routinely work hard week after week and get better at them. And as soon as I applied that idea of treating this as a fundamental that I want to be good at, because I would consider planks and side planks a fundamental in many ways, then it was when I realized how good this exercise is. Everybody writes off planks until someone puts a heavy sandbag on your back and you do the plank that way for 2 or 3 rounds, and then you realize, wow, this is a big compound fundamental that is actually worth my time. So that would be my tip for the day. Buy in.